Get my gear out, bro.
Live.
Man. Woo, look at that. Ah. Hey, boy. Love this, man. Why the microphone ain't on, bro?
But you ain't got to, because you ain't live yet like that.
I ain't what?
You good? Go ahead. Do it. Handle your business. I got you. Got that song. Go one more time. Keep going. Bam. Now you can turn your mic on. This when you start hollering.
Hey, man, get this microphone. Get the microphone working, man. Get the team ready. Get the team ready, man.
Lord Jesus.
What you do? What you do, team? What you do to the team, man?
What that is?
What a bada! Woo da da bada!
What you talking about?
Woo do the bada!
Lord Jesus. Can't take him nowhere, y'all.
Woo do bada! Do ding of my team, man!
Can't take him nowhere. Lord.
Hey, boy! Hey, boy! Hey, boy! Hey, what do to the team, man, Todd?
What are you talking about?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Lord.
This is your host, Joaquin Thompson, coming to you live from, not Snellville, not Atlanta. Lil Burn.
Lil Burn.
Lil,
Come on.
what? Lil
Come on.
Burn.
Lil
Is
Burn.
that like a little burn?
Little Burn. Not a big burn, but a little burn.
A
That's
little
right.
burn.
There you go.
Man.
Come on,
Who
say it.
came up with
Amen.
these names?
I don't know, but you like it or not.
Once they did Atlanta after that, it was like Atworth, Snellville,
Roswell,
Mechanicsville. Good grief. But anyway,
Loganville.
anyway.
You know what the names
You
mean,
tuned
right?
in. Hey man, hey.
You know what the names
Hey man,
mean,
let me
right?
do my intro, bro. Don't.
The intro. Anybody know a good producer?
You know
Go
what,
ahead.
man? 2019. 2019, bro. You better go and have all the fun you want to have, bro. Cause next year, this time next year,
It's on and popping.
bro, you'll be home watching the game at this time, man. You won't even be. You won't miss none of the play. Hey, you won't miss none of the plays, man. But good evening, everyone. My name is Joaquin Thompson. I'm the host of the Daily Bread Radio Show, coming to you live from Lil Burn. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, the Daily Bread Radio Show is a show about personal finance, and we share personal finance with everyone from a spiritual standpoint. We don't do religion on the Daily Bread Radio Show, but we do honor the one being,
Yes.
that's God.
Come on.
And other than outside of God, that's it. We don't do religion. We don't do all these different facets and factions and cults and all. We don't do all of that. We talk about God, and that's it. But we've been blessed. This is our 74th episode of the Daily Bread Radio Show. So that means we got 26 episodes to 100. 26 episodes to 100. So with that, I mean, every week I say it, it seems a little bit more surreal, a little bit more, but it's an incredible journey that God has put me on, and I feel so refreshed when I come into the studio. I feel excited when I come into the studio because every week I have something that I feel like I want to share with the world, and He's just taking me on a journey. I mean, working through some different things, business-wise, trying to expand our viewership, and every week, every day, really pretty much day to day as I'm working through different things related to the show, I have people reaching out to me about potential guests. I have people calling me saying, hey, this would be a good person to have onto the show. So I have some of those that are in the pipeline. So we got some people that are coming up, a couple of people out of Duval County that we want to make sure that we represent for the home team. We got some other young ladies and gentlemen out of the Atlanta area that are going to be coming on in the upcoming weeks. And we got 2 months left. We got November and December, then we on to 2019. So whatever you need to get done in 2018, you need to go on and wrap it up because you got 2 weeks left in this month, and then we on to November. And you know what happens in November? November is only 3 weeks to Thanksgiving. And then once you hit Thanksgiving, you're only 3 weeks to Christmas. And then boom, you out of here. So I would encourage you to, focus, working on, continue to work on whatever you're working on, continue to make those goals that you're making. And one of the things I did want to share with the listening audience tonight is, I think one thing that I need everybody to do, but not do too much of it, but have balance, but just have some fun. I mean, a lot of times when I'm talking to people, man, they just so uptight about stuff that don't matter. I mean, like really uptight about stuff that don't matter, you know. So one of the things I want to talk about today is just, man, loosen up, bro. Just loosen up, man. Life too short. I got a 7-year-old grandson. My grandson told me last Saturday, he's 7 years old. He said, Papa, he said, you know, you gotta have fun in life because life is short. And he told me that he's 7 years old. So I'm like, anybody that's 7 years old, I mean, a 7-year-old know that then 51, 49, 47, 48, you know, we gotta know that. So with that being said, just add some balance to your life. Don't let the stress get you down too far, because a lot of times when you look back, like right now, if you do some self-reflection about 2018, there was some stuff that you was upset about back in January that today you don't even remember. But you was so mad about it in January, February, big fights, and now here it is, you know, October going into November. You don't even remember what you was upset about, or how mad you got, or some, you know, harsh words that you said to somebody. So that was just something that was in my spirit, like, you know, really just wanting to just get everybody to just loosen up, you know, chill out for a little while, and, you know, have some balance in your life. You know, live. I have a saying that I always use when people doing different things, just good living. Bottom line, just good living. You know, I love to see people doing things, traveling, accomplishing goals, you know, having fun, you know, but again, just make sure it's balanced though. Because I know some people, they have a little too much fun, and then the things that need to be, like I say, handled, they're not addressing the things that really need to be addressed or handled. So that's something that, you know, I want all of us to just have balance, you know, because if you have balance, life is just so much better when you have balance. You're able to do different things, especially have fun. You know me, I'm not gonna be down. I'm not the type of person to just be down all the time. I mean, good, bad, you know, taking L's, as they say, you know, having losses, whatever. I'm just not gonna be down, because that's just not that ain't in my makeup. And that's not how, you know, how I like, you know, how I like to look at life. So today I want to talk about a couple different things. Last week's show, if you haven't taken the time to check out last week's episode, which was episode 73. Last week I came into the studio, met a young man for the first time. Didn't even know him before I got to the studio, but had the honor and the pleasure of meeting him, brother by the name of Thomas Lofton, Loftin, and you can look him up on Facebook as well, but he goes by TJ, Thomas TJ Lofton. So coming to the studio last week, meet him out, I was out in the green room waiting to come on the air. Meet this brother, we get to talking about some different things, and we had some similar interests. So then he was like, well, hey man, you know, do you have a guest tonight? I was like, no, you could be my guest. So I had him come on to the show, and this, I mean, like I said, this is my 74th episode. And this brother, man, that's just all, man. But let's see what I was just talking about, being in the right spirit balance. But anyway, brought him into the studio. We had the interview, and during the interview, the stuff that he was saying was so deep, and he was dropping it so, it was so impactful, enlightening, enriching, that typically I would be taking notes. But me and this brother was just vibing, having a good time. We were going back and forth. And I ended up picking up his book. So, you know, every week I have a book of the week. So last week at the end of the show, I had a book that I brought in that I thought was going to be the book of the week. But then I purchased this brother's book and ended up making it the book of the week last week. So get off the show Thursday, go home Friday. So Saturday morning, I'll get up. I'm like, man, I got a little time on my hands. I said, let me go and just check out his book, right? So the book is 148 pages, and so I picked the book up. I started reading the book, right? Just trying to, you know, like, hey man, I'm gonna read a little bit, and then I'll probably put it down, right? And So I started reading the book, I'm reading the book. The book is 148 pages. And I read, in one setting, I read 131 pages of 148. This brother's book, this brother here, Thomas T.J. Lofton, this is the kind of stuff that we need to make sure that we turn people on to. Like we turn people on to the fight, we turn people on to different music, or we turn people on to different videos, or things we see on social media. This, I'm gonna tell you like this. This brother book is called Monetizing Gentrification. Just the title alone is deep. If you take some time, just take a step back and think about what he's saying here. Monetizing gentrification. Now, this book and the content of this book, when you start to read it, is deep. That's all I can say, man. It's so deep, it's so timely, and basically what this brother has done is he has a deep story in himself. He's from Compton, started off in, building cars in Compton, ended up being one of the pioneers of, creating lowriders. And from there he started, building his business from, doing lowriders and things of that nature. And then he moved into, other businesses, and then he got into real estate. And the stuff that he talks about in his book is so deep and so profound. I think that's why I knocked out 131 pages in one setting. I'm talking about, I just got up and I just kept turning the pages. I was like, man, let me put this book down. Couldn't put it down because what he was saying was just, it was on point. And it's something that I want to get out to everybody. So I'm bringing, this is the first time I've ever done this on my show. I've never really had what I call a back-to-back book of the week. And we've had some phenomenal guests, phenomenal books. Even my book, I've never done my own book back-to-back. But this week, Thomas T.J. Lofton, Loftin. You can go out on Amazon, or you can go to this brother's website, ThomasTJLofton.com, and look up his book. It's called Monetizing Gentrification, Building Black Ownership. And just that title alone, man, I knew you was coming with some more sound effects, but just that title alone, and what he's talking about is all of the things that are going on in the U.S. from a gentrification standpoint. So people, I know it's people on that show tonight, that on Facebook Live, people that are going to listen and see this video again from different parts of the country, New York, D.C., L.A. This brother was from L.A. The same thing that he's describing what's going on in L.A. is happening in D.C., it's happening in New York, it's happening in Atlanta, soon to be happening in Jacksonville. Because what's happening is these big companies and individuals, not just big companies, but individuals are coming into our neighborhoods, those places where we grew up. We live in Duval, it's the north side, it's out east, things, those type of areas. So you look at Duval County and look at where that stadium is built, and he had a very deep philosophy as far as how to find out where the gentrification is going to start and how it's going to expand. And when he started talking about it, I was like, you know what, you're right. Because I was looking at what happened in Atlanta when they had the dome, tore the dome down and built Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But the area in and around Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Bluffs, CAU, and AU Center, all of that area was, predominantly black, moderately and low income housing. Fairly cheap. A lot of stuff going on, crime ridden and all these. But once they built that stadium and it started to become gentrified, so when you can go in and that's what me and him talked about off air. It's like playing the game of Monopoly. When you can go in and buy, you don't go in and buy one house, you can go in and buy a house for $12,000, tear it down, build a new house, and sell the new house for $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 in the same space that you bought a house for $12,000. That's big. That's big. But so the reason I say this book is so deep is like we can't, as we see these things and these opportunities in front of us, we can't let all of them go past. It's kind of like watching traffic go by. It's like at some point you got to jump on something. You know what I'm saying? We got to start being like cheetahs. You know, start running by. One of them you got to jump on and grab, because we have to set up. When we start talking about our legacy, somebody has to run the first leg of the relay. So you may not be around for, you know, when your enterprise gets so big that, you know, it's such and such enterprise, or we may have already passed away, but I'm sure you would be just as happy if it was your son, your daughter, your grandson, your granddaughter, your great-grandson, your great-granddaughter. Somebody down in your lineage was able to take advantage of that opportunity that you put in play. So, I mean, and those are the type of things that we're seeing every day. I'm seeing it's going to definitely happen in Jacksonville. I was doing some research a year ago, and I'm born and raised in Jacksonville. I was doing some research a year ago about the fastest growing real estate markets in the country. In the country. They listed the top 20 cities that had the highest amount of year-over-year growth in real estate. In the country. Think about how many cities are in the country. Top 20. You know what was in the top 20? Jacksonville, Florida. Top 20. Jacksonville, Florida. So what does that mean? The real estate is going up. They're going to be buying it cheap in and all around the stadium. They're going to do a whole new, you know, development down on the St. Johns River and this, that, and other. And again, what this brother was saying made it so deep was this. He said, they bringing in something big like that. Say if they're going to redevelop all of that area down near the shipyard and along the St. Johns River. Okay, you may not be able to buy an apartment building or a condo. He said, why not figure out some type of business that you can insert and be adjacent to all of this stuff that's going on? He said it could be something as simple as a hot dog stand. It's simple, like real simple. You know, if they doing all this development, you might be like, hey, I can get light bulbs wholesale. Stuff that people ain't thinking about, but everybody, think about all of those buildings and how many light bulbs are gonna go in. You might be the light bulb man. But he was saying, you know, what he was saying is like, you may not be in position to be the king, but it's not about being the king. It's about being part of being the king maker. Because all of that building, all of that construction that's going to be going on, somebody will have to supply the wood. It's going to be a little truck that's going to be coming by every day while they build it, boom, 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 boom. Somebody going to be coming by with a little mobile, you know, sandwich truck. They selling Cokes and chips and drinks. And I done seen people make $100,000, $200,000 selling hot dogs and that was 25 years ago. So I'm saying all this to say, I want us to just take some time to be thinking and start thinking outside of the box. Not when you're the consumer, but when you start to think like a capitalist. Like, what can I do? What can I put in place? What can we do? Can we come together as a collective and say, hey man, why don't we, and that was something else that he talked about in the book. You might see a building in any city in the U.S., and you may say, man, I don't have $6 million to buy a building. I don't have $7 million to buy a building. But he said, what if you got 10 or even 20 people together and everybody pitched in credit and down payment? Now you got 20 people, you could take down a $6 million building with 40 units. Everybody, the 20 people, you might live in, you know, half of the people might take a unit and live in it and rent the rest out. It's just something to think, but we got to start thinking differently so that way we're not the consumer. We're not the person that's funding all of these other dreams for other people. It's just, I mean, it's real talk. So if you got a comment or if you want to call into the show, 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. So definitely get, you know, if you get the opportunity to check out this brother's book. And the thing that made this so timely, and the thing about this show that's so deep is every week I plan to do a different show. Like every week I'm gonna talk about this or these are my agenda topics. But then something to happen and come on my radar and I'm like, oh, I gotta talk about that. So this brother's book was timely, and then today I look in the mail, boom, look at this. This came in the mail today. right? Now, you know what's deep about this book? This is a magazine. This is not even a book. This is a magazine. But the thing about knowledge is, as you expose yourself to different things, it gives you perspective. It gives you perspective on life. And something I read about this, I mean, I only had about 30 minutes before I had to come into the show. But this is fresh, hot off the press, just came out this month, special issue. This is the Forbes 400. And this is an annual issue that Forbes comes out with, similar to the Fortune 500, which is, those are corporations. But the Forbes are individuals. These are the 400 wealthiest people in America, right? So you say, okay, that's cool, 400 richest people in America. But just to give you some perspective, when you start talking about wealth and income in this country, in order to be on this list, in order to make the list, the threshold was $2.1 billion with a B. So you had to be, your net worth had to be at $2.1 billion to even make the list as being in the top 400 wealthiest people in the United States. This is not even a global issue. This is the U.S. issue. Now, they'll have another one that'll come out later on this year that'll be global, where they'll look at the 400 richest people in the world. But some of these people that are in this 400 are some of the richest people in the world. But just think about that for a moment. 2.1 billion to be on the Forbes 400. So what does that mean? That means people like Oprah, 'cause I looked through it, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey not on the list. She ain't make the 400. Cause she's not at, she's a billionaire, but she's not at 2.1. So that just goes to show you how much income is out here in the world. And a lot of these are businesses that we frequent, that we utilize, that we're helping to fund. Meaning we pay a subscription fee or we use their service. MailChimp is in here. Of course, Facebook is in here. The guy who did WhatsApp, that app, he's in here. Walmart, Koch brothers. I mean, all of these are just things that we consume. Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys. And the thing that makes it so deep is that when I sit back and look at it, I'm like, wow, the oldest person on the list is 95 years old. The youngest person, listen to this, the oldest person on the list is 95 years old. The youngest person on the list is 28. He's 28 years old and has at least, I don't even know how much he's worth, but I know he's worth at least 2.1 billion. And some of these things, some of the businesses that people are making money with at this level, we're using them and we don't even realize, like, wait, whoa, I didn't realize it was that big. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. My grandson, he's 7, loves to play this game called Fortnite. I didn't even know what Fortnite was. But he just kept putting it on the computer. I'm like, Fortnite? I'm like, oh, what is that? What is Fortnite? So I still don't really know what it's about, but I read very briefly about the business plan behind this video game. It's called Fortnite, right? This guy that developed Fortnite, that business model, that video game is worth 3.1 with a B, $billion. And the way he set it up was, the video game is free. But you can play the video game, and from what I read in the book, because I don't know, he's saying that as you play the video game, you can purchase. Like, they have people that are playing this game all over the world, and they're buying different things. You can buy different, I guess, weapons or things that you need in order to play this game. People purchase, just the purchasing, we're not even talking about the ads and everything else that he's made money on. Just buying these different things that go along with the game, enhancements, I guess you would call it, that go on. He sold over $1 billion and just selling items to enhance the game, like little guns or little weapons or shields or whatever comes with Fortnite. $3.1 billion video game. So I'm saying that to say, I didn't get discouraged by it, but I got enlightened, because I'm saying at 3.1, that's a lot of money. But if you bring it down 10%, that'll put you at 300 million, right? You'd be like, man, that's a lot of money. But if you bring it down 10, bring it down another 10, that's 30 million. That's a lot of money. Bring that down another one, that's 3 million. That's a nice little, if you was making 3 million a day, think about that. That'd be that's a nice little income, $3 million. That's a nice little income. And then you break it down again, 10% of that, 300,000. So I'm like, man, I know we could do 3 million, like with no problem, right? But I'm saying that to say, these are the type of things that help you to break through the barriers in your mind. Because in our minds, we're thinking, man, $1 million, that would be like, ooh. And here's a man in here, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is in it. Jeff Bezos is at 100. Listen to this number. This is this is something that is astronomical. This man is at 100. Listen to this number. $160 billion. That's his net worth. 160 billion. So I'm like, if this man can make 160 billion, I know I can get at least 10 million. 10 million shouldn't be that hard, right? So I'm like, man, I'm ready to connect. I mean, people who listening to the show, people who may even see the rebroadcast, man, if you're ready to connect, let's connect. Let's collaborate. Let's buy some buildings. Let's get some video games. Let's do something, man, because all of this revenue is open to everybody. It's no, you don't have to ask for permission. You just have to go get it. That's it. Only thing we got to do is just get together and go get it. We can't do it alone. So we can't do that because we didn't try that. That business model don't work. That single man thing, it don't work. Because it ain't so much that one person can do by themselves. You gotta form a collective. You see that all around. You can't be as bad as Steph Curry is, he's not Golden State. KD, as bad as KD is, he's not Golden State. But when you put KD with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green, then you add in some, a couple other guys, right? Iguodala. Now you got something. Now you got back-to-back championships. Not somebody who's just out there, on a team. DeMar DeRozan. There's a lot of all-stars out there. Anthony Davis. He can't do it by himself. He ain't gonna do nothing in New Orleans. He can't win no championship in New Orleans. I guarantee you that. And that's one of the baddest dudes on the planet. Can't do it by himself. But if you get him with some other bad players, Golden State, they can win as many championships as they want because they got the right attitude. They're like, I don't have to be a superstar, right? I just want to be on a superstar team. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm 51. I just want to be on a superstar team. So I mean, if you making $1 million, and I'm making $1 million, and he making $1 million, and she making $1 million, I'm with it. I'm with it. Call me. You can inbox me. You can, Daily Bread Radio Show at yahoo.com. If you got an idea about something, like, hey, man, let me run something by you. Or, hey, man, maybe we can invest in something. Let's start doing that kind of stuff. And stop, trying to build our own little castle. Don't want you to know. Nah, man, let's split it and get it. Let's split it and go get it. Especially young people. Let's pull in some of these young people. They know about social media. They know what they have the pulse on what's going on in the world. Let's go get it. 2 point. These are like individuals. They have teams now, but a lot of these people, they started it themselves. So I get that, and that's why, like last week when me and this brother was talking, and we was talking about the Daily Bread Radio Show, we was talking about advertising in the future. People gonna want to, advertise with the Daily Bread Radio Show. I'm gonna be charging them for that. Big following, big membership on TV. Be like, nah, hey bro, we got to charge for that. So just something to think of, just something to just chew on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the Daily Bread Radio Show is about. Disseminate information to help everybody. I want everybody to blow up. Everybody to blow up because as you all go, I go. And as you all go, you know, you may turn me on to something and vice versa. So wanted to put that out there so that way, you know, you can just like I said, just marinate on that. The second thing that I wanted to talk about, and I know I've talked about a couple of different things, but I'm gonna just keep it like that. The second thing I want to talk about, and that's a perfect segue when we talk about teams, is this. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday who's my financial planner, right? And I'm sharing this with you all because it's really out of love and just transparency, just full transparency, right? I know a lot of people making a lot of money, they don't have a financial plan, right? And I'm gonna just use myself as an example. I've had this brother for like maybe 2-3 years. You know, pay. We go and he tell me about when you want to retire, how much money you would, you know, do all of that kind of stuff. But yesterday, I was like, you know what, man, we need to have a real conversation because there's some stuff that I've been thinking about, and this goes back to mindset. This goes back to mindset and the type of mindset that you have to have when you're trying to go to a different level in life. People use that's cliche, like a different level, but really what needs to happen is this. And this is something that I read and I researched like years ago. And in order to become a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever you aspire to be from a financial standpoint, it's not about the amount of money. It's not about the amount of money that you can accumulate. It's about the mindset that you can eat. Your mindset has to change in order for you to bring those different things into being. You got to change your mindset. So I'm talking to the brother yesterday, and he's telling me we're talking about retirement ages, 57, 59, 65, 70. We throw all these numbers around, and then in the middle of the conversation, I just said, hey, man, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I need you to explain to me the value in having a financial planner, because some months me and him don't even talk, but I keep paying the fee or whatever, and I'm like, why am I paying this fee? I ain't talking to him like 3 months, 2 months, whatever. And sometimes it's on me too, because he may ask me to do something, I haven't done it or what have you, but just, you know, I just like, man, I'm paying this money. And I already kind of knew the answer, right? Because sometimes when you ask people questions, you already know the answer, you're just trying to get a confirmation. So I asked him, I just said, hey man, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I don't want you to, I want us to be comfortable enough to have a conversation in full transparency. And he was like, okay, that's cool. So I said, well, what is the value of having a financial planner? Like, why am I, I'm paying you this money, and I don't, the way I view my situation, I'm like, I do have some money, but it's not like I got all of this money where I need a financial planner. I didn't, I'm like, I got one, and I'm still like kind of questioning, why do I need one? He broke it down to me. He said, look, man, he said, this is how this is going to work. He said, I'm going to work with you. We're going to work on some goals. We're going to get you to a certain place. We're going to address different things that you need to address from a financial standpoint. And then once you get stabilized, if you feel like you need to cut the service off, then so be it. You cut it off. But until you get to that point in time, I want to help you get to that point in time and give you some insight on different things and different strategies, different things that I know, so that way it's going to help you out to get where you're going. And I was like, wow, okay. I said, that's cool, that's fair. Because what I had been thinking about. I was like, do I need to cut this off? Because I'm paying every month, but I don't meet with you every month. So once me and him had that conversation, I thought about it. And then he laid something on me yesterday that was so crazy that I had no knowledge of from a financial standpoint, that as soon as he told me yesterday, I'm talking about this one I did will probably make me, in the next 10 years, it has the potential, if I do what I'm supposed to do, it has the potential to make me $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. One idea, one. Could make me more than that because I'm non-conventional, meaning I'm not I'm not good at following rules all the time. I'm not good at that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm not good at following rules. I don't break laws. I'm not trying to break a law, but it's a difference between breaking a law and following a rule. Because a lot of times when you follow rules, the rules you follow are set up by people like this, right? They set the rules up so you follow the rules so they get richer, as opposed to you following what they did because they didn't follow the rules to get here. These are not rule followers. Because if you go through here and you read this magazine, you will notice that I think it said 89% of the people that are on this list were entrepreneurial or self-made. That means that they weren't in corporate, they weren't following rules. No, they were doing things differently, looking at the world differently, looking at ways to solve problems differently than everybody else. So I don't follow rules real well, especially when it comes to money. So the information that he shared with me, I'm gonna share it with you all. If you work for a company that has benefits and you have a medical plan, and if part of your medical plan is an HSA, a health savings account, and I knew about HSAs, right? But he took it a step further, right? If you have medical benefits and you have an HSA, so typically you can elect to contribute to your HSA, which is your health savings account, and the money that you put in your health savings account is supposed to be earmarked or allocated for what they call qualifying medical expenses. So what's a qualifying medical expense? You go to the doctor, you go to the dentist, you go to the emergency room, you pay your copay. You got you had to have some lab work done. So instead of you coming out your pocket and paying with after-tax dollars that you have in your pocket, you use your HSA because your HSA, those are dollars that are pre-tax dollars, meaning that money comes out before you even pay taxes on it. And then you're able to use that money to pay for qualifying medical expenses. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's just one aspect of it. The second aspect is you can contribute to your HSA, and then after you get to a certain level in your HSA, now you can take part of your money and invest it in different investment vehicles that your company may have set up for you. Could be a mutual fund, it could be a money market account, could be a group of stocks, right? But you can take part of your HSA, invest it, you're gonna get variable returns. You might get 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, what have you. But you don't really, you care, but at the same time, listen, pre-tax dollars, now it's in a vehicle where you get interest on top of what you contributed that you can roll over year after year after year that you can use for medical expenses, because as we age, you're gonna have some medical expenses. That's one of the highest expenses any person is gonna have, especially as they age, going to the doctor, right? So you're gonna have that. So if you can put something away pre-tax and let it grow, and you get interest on it, and here's the third, that was the second benefit. Here's the third benefit. When you get ready to remove the money to use for medical expenses in the future, you don't pay taxes on that either. Listen, pre-tax, that means you haven't paid taxes on it. Pre-tax, and you can get growth, and you can take it out to pay for medical expenses in the future, and you don't pay taxes on that either. And this is what he was sharing with me yesterday. He says no other vehicle out there where you can get those three things. Pre-tax, grows, and the growth is not taxed. That's two benefits. And the third benefit, when you go to take it out to use for medical expenses, you don't pay taxes on that either. No other vehicle out there like that. Stocks, bonds, life insurance, IRAs, none of that. Because usually you either pay money, if it's pre-tax, like in a 401k is pre-tax. But like we had Chris Holt on here maybe a month ago, and he was telling us, it's pre-tax going in, but when you need it in the future, guess what? It's gonna be taxed when you take it out. This is something where you could go in, and just think about it, if you did that over the next 10 years, right? Put money away for medical expenses over the next 10 years. In 10 years, you may have, just to say a round number, 50,000, right? You put 5,000 in a year. No, that's too, we just go, okay, say like 30, we're gonna say 30,000. We're gonna bring it down, make it real realistic. So in 10 years, you have $30,000 in your HSA. Money that you've contributed. I didn't tell you the fourth benefit. The fourth benefit is most employees are gonna contribute to it as well. So now you got your company giving you $500 or $1,000 every year to your HSA, and it's growing, and you could take it out for qualified medical expenses. Now, say in 10 years you got $30,000 there. You're in relatively good health. You know, you got a little high blood pressure here and there. You know, but for the most part, you don't have no major chronic illnesses, right? $30,000 just for your medical expenses. I mean, when you go to the doctor, if you have to go to the ER, if you had to have an MRI, you just go over there and take your little $1,000 and bam. Okay. Oh, I had to go to the ER. Bam. There you go. Oh, I had to go to the dentist. Bam. Oh, I had to get my eyes checked. Bam. And that's part of the money that's gonna help you get to where you're going. When you say you quote unquote want to retire, you're gonna need money for medical expenses. You're gonna need money for medical. And if you know, some people might say, oh, well, you're gonna have more than $30,000 worth of expenses. That's fine, but guess what? Go through the $30,000 first before you get to whatever your other bucket of money is. Be it in a life insurance policy, 401k, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, wherever your other, you know, you might have a pension, but let that be in your arsenal as well. So that way you're not limiting yourself to just, I got money coming in from my pension and my retirement and Social Security. Now you got some money that you can go and grab and just pay for medical expenses. And guess what? It can stay there, it keeps rolling over. You don't have that use it or lose it. So that one idea could make me 100,000 too, because I use a small number, 30,000. It could be more than, it might grow to 100,000 in 10 years. You never know, because when you start investing money into different investment vehicles, you're getting contribution plus interest, and it's rolling over. Contribution plus interest, and it's rolling over. So as you start to compound interest, you know, it's no telling how big it can grow. And that was one idea. So I'm saying that to say, as we moving along this journey called life, we need to get in the habit of paying for good advice, paying to be on somebody's team. Because I pay him, but he's on my team. So I could pick up the phone, call him anytime. A lot of times I call him with, you know, crazy ideas about different things. He's like, man, look, I can't tell you what to do, but this is what I think. And I listen to what he say, and I'll be like, okay. Sometimes I'll be like, click, I'm doing it anyway. And then sometimes I just like, okay. Maybe I do need to just chill out. But it's good to have somebody like that on your team. A good attorney, a good accountant, a good bookkeeper, a financial planner, an estate plan. You put all those things into place, a good life insurance agent. Those are things that's like having a good mechanic. You know, we'll find a good mechanic for our car, and we'll never leave that person until they go out of business. If they're a good mechanic, they charge us a fair price. We need to start thinking the same way about financial people who are in the financial world, people who are in the business world. Like, man, I got a great accountant. You know, not somebody be cooking the books and you end up in federal court. Not that kind of good accountant, but somebody who's going to give it to you straight, tell you what to do, what not to do. And like I said, a lot of times I'm not good at following instructions or following these rules because, I mean, I've seen it. These rules have been made by people to benefit off of, and I'll just say me, benefit off of me. So what I try to do is I try to bend it to my advantage, but at the same time, still satisfy what the rule says. The President of the United States said, this was 2 weeks ago on CNN, they said President Donald Trump, over his career in business, Trump Towers and all of these golf courses, all of this, they said in his career, he has avoided paying tax on over $500 million. That's $500 million in taxes that he's avoided. He told Hillary Clinton in one of the last presidential debates, she thought she was going to get him. She came right out and said, "You didn't show us your taxes. You're not paying the taxes." You know what he turned around and said? "I'll never forget this as long as I live." And this was during a presidential debate. You know what he said? He said, "No, I didn't. I didn't pay taxes on that because," and he said, "Don't fault me for following the law." And the law says if you have a business and you have legitimate tax deductions, you can take them. That is the law. But if you choose not to have a business, that's on you. That's what the president of the United States said on national TV during a presidential debate. So if it's good for him at 500 million, do you think it'll work for us at, say, 5,000, 10,000? I talked to my daughter about this maybe 2 months ago. We did some numbers and was looking at stuff like over the years, look at your credit, like, you paying so much in taxes, just setting up a business and starting to pay for something that you know you're gonna use anyway, like, say for women, they're gonna use cosmetics. So if you're gonna use cosmetics and you're a woman and you don't have a business, why not become a Mary Kay representative? Because as a Mary Kay representative, what can you do? You can write off your cell phone bill. Why? Because you use your phone to call clients, right? Yeah. You use your phone to get from different meeting to meeting, okay. But you gotta have a business set up so that way you can take off that $125 that you're paying every month anyway. Why not write it off? That's something that you're gonna have anyway. You're gonna pay for that anyway. And not just for women, for men too. I mean, everybody got a cell phone, right? If you're gonna travel, and you've heard me say this many a time, if you're gonna travel anyway, a friend of mine, they was just in St. Lucia. People posting stuff, "Oh, I'm over here in the Virgin Islands, I'm in Punta." Okay, you over there, but how much of that are you writing off? You could be a travel agent. Yeah, I know you got your 9 to 5, but you could be a travel agent too and write it off. So, just something to think about as we, go down, like I said, go through this journey that we call life. And I love sharing this information with you because, people always say, "Oh, it only takes one person." If one person within the sound of my voice, like, "Man, that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna work that out." And you save $5,000 over the next year, and you take that 5,000, either eliminate some debt or you buy some stock. Like, okay, I can get me 5 shares of Amazon. So as Amazon going up, where you get the 5,000 from? I got the 5,000 from a tax deduction, and get away from. You don't want no refund. I ain't even gonna get into that. We too old to be looking for a refund. Don't be looking for no refund from your taxes. Be looking for zero. I don't want no refund, because a refund is just saying I'm giving you back part of the money that you paid into me during the year. So if you want to do that, you could call me here at the radio station, 678-381-1973, or you can email me, dailybreadradioshow@yahoo.com, and say, "Hey, I listen to your show. I want to give you $100 a month, and at the end of the year, just give me $800 back." I'll take that all day. Send me $100 every month for 12 months, and I promise you, matter of fact, I'll make it better. I'll give you $900 back. I'll give you $900 back. If you want a refund, or we can do bigger numbers. You give me $500 a month. We get to the end of the year. You gave me $6,000 for the year. I'll give you $4,500 back. I ain't got no problem with that. That's good money. But during that year, for that $6,000, I'll take 1% on $6,000. I'll take 2% for the whole year, and give you your $4,500 back in a refund. That's what the government is doing. So we got to get that. We beyond that. We're not even looking for no refund. We're trying to make money, make our money work, and be advantageous, and be business owners. We want to be business-minded and business owners. Business-minded, business owners. That's it. We don't want to be just consumers, buying, spending our money with people. Every time you spend your money, it's bi-directional. And what that means is somebody's paying money, and the person that you're paying the money to, for whatever you do, concert, trip, clothes, cars, jewelry, real estate, anything. If you buy, somebody else is making money. When you spending your money, somebody else is making money. You go to churches, they making money. Somebody who owns a franchise, they making money. And that's the way you got to start thinking. You are a business. And we talked about this, so I'm not going to go into that, but you are your own business. You are your business. So why not get you a business license, get registered with the Secretary of State, and be a business. Be a legitimate business. That's it. But look at you, man. Got the producer over here sweating. You should be taking notes, man. And you should be taking notes, man. I'm gonna take a few weeks off, man. That's what I'm gonna do. For the rest of the year, I'll see y'all in January.
Your numbers gonna decline.
My numbers gonna decline. Man, before my numbers decline, I'm gonna be somewhere that got darn they have to put me in a straitjacket, man. On Wednesday nights, I already be Wednesday night, I be laying my little clothes out. They be like, people say, man, Thursday night football come on tomorrow. Can you go? I'm like, Thursday night football? Like, man, the Daily Bread radio show coming on tomorrow, bro. I couldn't go 2 weeks without being on this show. It ain't gonna happen, man. I'm not doing it. But, great show. And the last thing I want to leave you all with is this. This is my last point for the night. Think about taking some time out and journal. A lot of times, you may have heard people talk about that. They have a diary and you kind of like dismiss it, like, oh, I ain't got time for that. Very therapeutic, and it's something that you can go back to and read in the future. And if you go back and read what you wrote a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, man, you will be amazed at the type of growth, or you'll be amazed at what God has brought you out of. Because sometimes what we do, we get so enamored with all the stuff that's going right, we forget about that season where things in your mind, everything was going wrong. Everything was going wrong. The money wasn't right. The relationship wasn't right. The food wasn't right. You was sick. You almost lost this. You did lose that. You forget that season when things get back on track. But if you journaled it and you go back and read your thoughts and how you was thinking and what you was going through, it gives you an appreciation for where you are now. You will appreciate having a raggedy car when you used to be on the bus. You will appreciate, I promise you, you will appreciate that car with the window that don't let all the way up in the back. So when it rains, it don't rain on you, but it rain in the back. You good with that. But the car run good, it don't have no leaks, but the window in the back don't look okay. But when you on the bus, you appreciate a car with a window that don't roll up. Mm-hmm. So journaling, and this is something that I was taking a class once 2 years ago. I was in an healthcare executive program where they were training all of us to be, executives in the work environment, so on and so forth. One of the first things that they taught us was journaling. And this book is the journal that they gave me. So the first part of this book, I was journaling, right? And I wasn't good at journaling, but I wrote a few pages, a few days, wrote some more another time. And then I turned it into my workbook for the Daily Bread radio show. So I got all of the episodes from I think in this book, I go back as far as episode, and I ain't gonna hold y'all on this, but it's like episode 11. I think it's like 11 or 12 is in this book, right? I started off with this book in like episode 11. Got all of the topics, everything I talked about. This book, this is historic. So I'm gonna always have this book. I'm gonna always have it. It's gonna be somewhere on the shelf so that way I'll be able to look back and I'll have an appreciation for when I used to go to the studio and it was just me and the producer and, my audience that I had and the guests that I came on. I'll have an appreciation for that when I'm on, network TV, or I got my own channel on Hulu or Netflix, or I done did this, or I'm interviewing, whoever's big at the time, Tyler Perry, Will Packer, Kevin, whoever. I'm gonna be able to look back and be like, man, I remember when it was just me, Raheem, you know, Gorilla Publishing, Daily Bear Radio Show, DKM Radio, and now look where we
Lord,
at.
this is Wally Amos, and you are listening to the Daily Bread Radio. It's the best.
Hey, boy, see what I'm saying? Who else can say that? Hey, I interviewed Wally Amos, famous Amos. I did it. Well, we did it, me and God. I ain't did it. I don't do nothing. So I'm just saying I was the recipient of the blessing. But we did that. We did that. So how many people you know interviewed famous Amos? Right? So I'm just saying, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a beautiful week. Hey, man, I'm not going to say pray because that would be blasphemy, but, man, keep the Jaguars in your thoughts. Because I don't know. I thought we was on our way to the Super Bowl a year ago. Now we,
Sidetrack.
man,
Badly.
bad karma,
That was
man.
ugly.
Somebody, man,
That was
somebody to put, like Richard Pryor said, somebody put the monkey foot. Somebody put the monkey foot on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cause boy, if we don't look like Pop Warner right now, boy, we look, boy,
21-3.
boy, them jokers hung 40 points on us, man.
Make your announcement.
What's the announcement?
Broncos up 21-3 on
Man, I
Saturday.
don't care about no Broncos.
Your audience might.
Oh, the audience might. Oh, y'all might care. Broncos up 21-3. Oh, Arizona ain't nobody. They sorry. They like Pittsburgh. They sorry like Pittsburgh. And I'm saying here right now, if we don't beat nobody else this year, we gonna beat
No,
Pittsburgh.
you ain't. No, you ain't.
If we don't beat nobody else, I mean the Colts. If we lose to the Colts, the Texans, who else we playing this year? The Redskins. If we go to London, lose to the Eagles. When is that? November 18th when we play the Steelers.
Y'all gonna lose.
Boy.
Y'all
Okay.
losing. Y'all losing.
Okay. You heard it here first. Like, remember last year when I told you that?
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all, boy. But man, we needed. Woo. Boy.
LeBron made his.
Boy, we had another quarterback.
LeBron made his LA home debut tonight.
No, it ain't his home debut, man.
Yeah.
It's debut. He playing in Portland, bro.
No.
It's Saturday night, man.
They say he at home.
No, he ain't home, bro. Trust me. Saturday night at 10:30, the world will know LeBron is making his debut.
LA debut.
His LA debut.
They gonna lose. Who they play?
Bro, they playing the Rockets.
Rockets gonna kill him.
Man, not that night.
Rockets gonna kill him.
I don't know what's gonna happen with not that no LeBron that night. Man, boy, LeBron go for the beat. Man, that joker go, hey, boy, hey, if you ain't gonna be at home Saturday night, or if you go to sleep early, get ready for church, you better DVR that.
He gonna bring it.
Boy, that's gonna be iconic, man. That man gonna do something crazy. I'm trying to tell you. Saturday night, 10. And I ain't even no LeBron fan, but I'm gonna tell you this: when the lights get big, that dude there, he gonna be he ain't gonna. Hey, he may not pass. He may not do none of that. But man, when he look out there and see all them folk, man, they came out here to see him.
So he gonna play the whole offense by himself.
What?
Ain't nobody gotta be on the floor.
Bruh, Houston got blown out last night.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, now if you think the New Orleans Pelicans are better than LeBron James and the Pips,
And the Pips.
boy, LeBron James and the Pips gonna kill them jokers, man. And I ain't even no fan. I just love sports, and I know what it is. That man is not losing Saturday night under no circumstance, none, zero.
Okay.
Now I got money on that, so. But hey, y'all have a beautiful week, man. Make sure you go out and check out this brother's book, T.J. Lofton, Monetizing Gentrification. Pick up a copy, man. Support the brother and learn some stuff. Get a chance, pick up the Forest 400 because that's what dreams are made of. It may not be you, but I'm fine with my son. If my son can get on the Forest 400, the Forest 400, my daughters, 2 daughters, oh my gosh, ooh. I mean, I'm good. Or it might be my grandson. Kobe can get on here, boy. Marley, I'll still be good. I'll be good, man. Whoever. And if one of y'all get on there, I'll be good, man. I'll be so happy. I'll be ecstatic, bro. And that's the way.
I know how to stop you. I know how to stop you.
Hey, I own that. Now that, I own that. Hey, y'all have a beautiful week, man. I see all y'all out there, man, in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Love the energy. We're going to keep it going. Next week is Iconic. Episode 75.
Oprah gonna be here.
Episode 75 next week.
Oprah gonna
Next
be here.
week.
Oprah Winfrey.
Next week.
Oprah
75.
Jenkins. Oh, not Oprah Winfrey. Oprah
Oprah.
Jenkins. Oprah
Oprah.
Jenkins. Not Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Jenkins.